Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Sathya Sai 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 Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Vaidehi Ramam Vaikuntha-dhamam. Vaidehi Ramam Vaikuntha-dhamam. Bhupala-chudamani. Bhupala-chudamani. Atma-viramam Prabhu Sai Ram. Atma-viramam Prabhu Sai Ram. Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje. Sathya Sai Rama Charanam Bhaje. Sathya Sai Rama Charanam Bhaje. Sathya Sai Rama Charanam Bhaje. Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam, Shri Rama Charanam Bhaje.
Invoking the blessings of the Almighty, our gratitude to Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, the vision behind the conference, dignitaries seated on the dais, Vedic scholars, officials from Government of India, respected elders, delegates, staff and students seated here, and all those joining us live, welcome to the inaugural session of the Global Conference on Vedic Ideas for a Better Society. This conference is presented by the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence in collaboration with Vedic Vigyan Kendra, Banaras Hindu University, and Maharishi European Research University, Meru, Netherlands, supported by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. It is said that Vedas are apaurusheyas, which means that they were not created by men. They are divine whispers into the ears of rishis while they were in their highest communion with the divine, which permeates all creation, including you and me. Indeed, it is very beautiful that we have all come together on this beautiful morning to ruminate upon the wonderful teachings from the Vedas to build a better society. यह एक अत्यंत ही सुखद क्षण है कि इस सौभाग्यशाली प्रातः काल में हम सभी एक श्रेष्ठ समाज के निर्माण के लिए वेदों की अद्भुत शिक्षाओं पर विचार करने हेतु एक साथ एकत्रित हुए हैं. At the outset, we would like to welcome all the dignitaries on the dais. Professor Hriday Ranjan Sharma ji, Distinguished Professor of Veda, Department of Veda, Sanskrit Vidya Dharma Vigyan, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Professor Dr. Meeta Kotecha, Head of Department of Herbal Medicine, National Institute of Ayurveda, Rajasthan, India. Professor Vijay Shankar Shukla, Regional Director, Regional Center, Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Dr. Manoj Nesari, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, New Delhi, Government of India. Professor Upendra Kumar Tripathi, Coordinator of Center for Vedic Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, India. Professor Rakesh Upadhyay, Professor, Banaras Hindu University, Professor, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and Visiting Professor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. From the leadership team of our university, we have Sri B.N. Narasimhamurthy Ji, Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Dr. Sri Kantamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, Social and Spiritual Leader, Founder, Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, and the vision behind this global conference. A hearty welcome to all the dignitaries once again. We would now like to invite the dignitaries to light the lamp, symbolizing an auspicious beginning for the conference.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
We will commence this morning's proceedings with Vedic invocation by boy students of Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence pursuing bachelor's in Vedic studies who shall chant the Nasadiya Suktam.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Na sada sino sada asi tada nina sidrajo no vyoma paroyata Kimavari vahkuhakasya sharmannam vahkima siddhanangabhiram Namrutyurasi damrutanna tarhinaratrya anha asit praketaha Anidavatam svadhaya tatekam tasmaad dhanyanna parah kinchanasa Tama asit tamasa gudhamagre praketam salilam sarvama idam Tucchena bhvavihitam yadasi tapasastan mahina jayataikam Kamastadagre samavartata dhimanaso retah prathamam yadasita Sato bandhumasati niravindan hridi pratishya kavayo manisha Tirashti no vitato rashmiresha madhasvidasit duparisvidasit Retodha asan mahimana asan svadha avastat prayatif parastat को अध्यावेदक्क इह प्रवोचत्कुत आजाता कुत इयं विसृष्टिः अर्वाग्देवा अस्य विसर्जनेनाथा को वेदयत आबभूव इयं विसृष्टिर्यत आबभूव यदि वा दधे यदि वा न यो अस्याध्यक्षः परमेभ्यो मनसो अंगवेदयदि वा न वेद ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।
We now request Sadguru to unveil the logo of the conference. Encapsulating the essence of the deep spiritual experience of the ancient sages, the Vedas are the heart and soul of Indian culture, delving into the transcendental secrets of the universe and uncovering the profound truths underlying all that exists. The Vedas are a treasure house of knowledge and wisdom, covering a vast array of subjects ranging from art and architecture to science, medicine, healthcare, and spirituality. वेद समाज के लिए अनेक रूपों में लाभकारी है। वे आदिशंकर का शीश, बुद्ध का हृदय और जनक के हाथ का एक दिव्य संगम है जो ज्ञान, करुणा और सेवा को जोड़ता है। This two-day conference aims to assemble a panel of experts and academicians in the field of Vedic sciences and research to discover those Vedic thoughts that have gone unnoticed, making them relevant to contemporary needs of the society. We will now have the inaugural video of this global conference. May we have the video, please?
Global Conference on Vedic Ideas for a Better Society. Vedas are the heart of Indian culture, encapsulating the essence of deep spiritual inquiry experienced by the ancient sages. They delve into the transcendent secrets of the universe, uncovering the profound truths underlying all that exists. Spanning innumerable topics, ranging from medicine and health to art and architecture, from space research to deep spiritual inquiry, Vedic literature covers a vast array of subjects in great depth. The most unique aspect of ancient Vedic literature is its intuitive reception by the sages of yore who perceived the extensive chasms of knowledge through the spark of divinity latent within. Vedic literature contains within it a treasure house of knowledge, and this conference will explore just a few major topics of discussion in the realms of ancient Vedic thought. Assembling a panel of luminaries in the field of Vedic research, this conference will collate the thoughts of numerous expert speakers and academics on the Vedic perspective of a healthy living, the Gurukula systems of imparting knowledge, the Ayurvedic approach to healthcare, and Vedic ideas on practical spirituality. Co-hosted by the Vedic Vigyan Kendra, Banaras Hindu University, Maharishi European Research University, and supported by the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence will be conducting this two-day global conference on Vedic ideas for a better society. This conference is sure to be a journey through the ages, offering practical insight into the ancient Vedic wisdom for a better society.
We now request our Chancellor, Shri B.N. Narasimhamurthy ji, to make the introductory remarks.
Offering a loving pranams at the lotus feet of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, highly esteemed and learned scholars on the Vedas and Ayurveda seated on the stage, brothers and sisters and very dear students, boys and girls. We are extremely grateful to Banaras Hindu University scholars. So many of them have made it here in spite of all their busy programs. We are very, very grateful to them. And also, from the Ayush Mantralaya, we have their officers, advisors, and administrators. Our grateful obeisance to them. We also thank Maharshi European Research University scholars to be joining us online in many of our technical sessions. Vedescha sarvaihi ahameva vedyo Vedanta krut Veda videva chaham. In this one profound revelation in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan himself sums up the content, essence, and fulfillment of the Vedas. It's a very simple sentence, but it's very deep, absolutely profound. Bhagavan declares all that is to be known in all the Vedas is myself. Ahameva vedyo. Vedescha sarvaihi. All the Vedas. I am the one. It means he is declaring that I am the content of the Vedas. Vedanta krut. I am the author of the Vedanta. And then Veda Videva Chaham, I am the knower of the Vedas. Many learned, wise Bhashyakaras on the Bhagavad Gita have interpreted the Aham. When he says, I am all the knowledge and wisdom of the Vedas. All that one has to know in the Vedas is myself. It has been interpreted as two aspects of this aham. The first is not that Krishna physical personality. First is that which came as Krishna, which came as Rama, which came as Sathya Sai Baba. That is Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. That is the first. Ahameva Vedyo means this is what ultimately anybody who studies Vedas will have to know. It is not said learn, to know by personal experience. That is the zenith of human achievement after having got this human birth, this rare human birth in our lives. The second aspect is the manifested aspect of the Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. That is the universe itself, the whole of Vishwam, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahma. Therefore, when we say, by studying Vedas, first you have to know the Nirguna Nirakara Brahma by direct intuitive experience. The second is about the universe. First is the wisdom, second is the knowledge. Therefore, a lot of people think that Vedas are repositories of only spiritual wisdom. Definitely it is not so. They are a very beautiful synthesis of wisdom and knowledge, which is most required for humanity today. This synthesis, knowledge, enough of knowledge is there in the world today, science has given. But there is no wisdom. Knowledge bereft of wisdom is very dangerous. In modern times, in our own times, science has simplified our living and complicated our life. It has simplified our living because we have all the gadgets, all the comforts, all the requirements science has given as never before. But science divorced from wisdom is a great danger and a great catastrophe today. It was the learned philosopher Bertrand Russell who said, "Knowledge is power, no doubt. But it is power for both evil and good. If man does not increase in wisdom as much as he increases in knowledge, increase of knowledge means increase of sorrow." This is what he said. When we increase our knowledge without increasing our wisdom, it leads to sorrow. This is that is the crisis of humanity today. This is what exactly Isaac Asimov said. The saddest part of our times is that science gathers knowledge faster than societies gather wisdom. And a very learned, very wise historian from England, Arnold Toynbee, made a very prophetic statement during the Second World War, almost 80 years ago. A chapter in history which had a Western beginning should have an Indian ending if it has not to end up in self-destruction of human race. See, the chapter in history is the modern chapter which started with Industrial Revolution in England, the advancement of science and technology. From there, it has a Western beginning. If it does not have an Indian ending, humanity is going to destroy itself. This is what he meant, because during the Second World War, he saw that annihilation, destruction that was happening all over Europe. That prompted him to say, it should have an Indian ending. I continue his quote, "At the supremely dangerous moment in the history of mankind, there is only one way of salvation. It is the way of the Hindu Dharma," he said this. It is the way of the Hindu Dharma. That is the only way of salvation. Why? Why does he say that? He adds, here we have the aptitude and spirit that can enable mankind to grow together into a single family. One and the only culture in the world which declared to the world, "Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Ekanidam, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam," is only Indian culture. It is only the Vedic culture. That is why this Vedic sciences and the spiritual wisdom of the Vedas has the great power to show us the way for better societies today in the world, not only in India, anywhere. If you dig deep into the wisdom of the Vedas, for everything there is a solution. For everything there is a way which is pointed out which will redeem men and women and the whole of mankind. The other part, the second part of the statement, Vedanta Krut, I am the author of Vedanta, Bhagavan Sri Krishna declares. So this is very important. Okay, you have knowledge and wisdom, fine, you have knowledge of the universe, but Vedanta Krut, I am the author. Who gave Vedanta? Vedanta is the supreme wisdom of the Vedas in the form of Upanishads, about which Arthur Schopenhauer, a German scholar, he said this: "In the whole world, there is no study as beneficial and as elevating as the study of the Upanishads. There is no other study except Upanishads. He said, study of Upanishads has been the solace of my life, and I am sure it is going to be the solace of my death also. That is what he said. See, that is what Bhagavan said, Vedanta Krut. I am the one who gave this Vedanta. There is the fulfillment. Swami Vivekananda declared, I never quoted anything other than the Upanishads. I teach only the Upanishads. I am going on teaching the principles of Upanishads all over the world. This is what he said. Therefore, Vedas, which contain these Upanishads, are a way forward. See, that is exactly why Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai has prompted us to organize this unique conference on how Vedic sciences and Vedic literature can show us a way for building better societies in the world. This conference has 4 sessions. The first is the Vedic way of healthy lifestyle. Swasti Pantam Anucharema. See, that is the watchword for the first session. How, on the basis of the wisdom of the Vedas, we can develop a good lifestyle which will keep us healthy, strong, wise, happy, and peaceful. And the second session focuses on Vedic health sciences or Ayurveda. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. That is the watchword for this technical session. And third is Vedic way of education. Vidyaya vindate amrutam. Through Vidya, education, we should win immortality, deathlessness. We should conquer death. That is the third session. And fourth session is spirituality in the Vedas, which is guided by the loftiest statement in our Indian culture, Atmano mokshartham jagadhitayacha. In just one sentence, they capture the essence and the purpose of life. Praying to Sadguru to bless all of us with success in all these 4 technical sessions, I conclude. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
अब हम श्री हृदय रंजन शर्मा जी को आमंत्रित करते हैं। राष्ट्रपति पुरस्कार विजेता प्रोफेसर श्री हृदय रंजन शर्मा जी बनारस हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय के संस्कृत विद्या धर्म विज्ञान वैदिक विज्ञान केंद्र के एक प्रतिष्ठित प्राध्यापक हैं। आपको 34 वर्षों से अधिक अध्यापकीय अनुभव है। वैदिक व्युत्पत्ति, वैदिक ग्रंथों का आध्यात्मिक पक्ष तथा वैदिक वास्तुकला में विशेषज्ञता रखने वाले प्रोफेसर श्री हृदय रंजन शर्मा जी के नाम अनेक प्रकाशन है। श्री हृदय रंजन शर्मा जी।
हरि ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवा गुंसस्तनूभिर्व्यासेमहि देवहितं जदायुः। मान्यमान्याः आदरणीयाः स्वामीवर्याः अधिमञ्चं विराजमानाः सर्वेपि मान्याः वरेण्यः विद्वांसः गोष्ठ्यां च विराजमानाः मनीषिणो विद्वांसः विदुष्यः शिष्यवर्याः अन्ये प्रियांसः छात्रादयश्च। काशीतः आगतोऽहं स्वामीवर्याणां स्नेह विशेषात् अत्र भवतां समक्षम् उपस्थितोऽस्मि। निर्दिष्टो हम वेद विज्ञान विषये किमपि संक्षेपेण तत्र कथनं भवेत् इति मया यस्य मंत्रस्य उच्चारणं कृतं, the mantra I recited, it has a very inspiring meaning relating to personally his or her, whatever that may be. Vedas say that our existence, whatever physical form is, there are senses of perception, senses of actions, then antakaran, inner organ, मन बुद्धि चित्त अहंकार इत्यादि रूपेण अस्माकं अस्तित्वं विद्यते। तत्र मंत्रोयम आदेशं करोति, स्मारयति। दिस मंत्र, the duties of our senses of perception and senses of action, यानि अस्माकं इंद्रियाणि सन्ति तेषां देवाः सन्ति। तो मंत्र द्वारा एषा प्रार्थना क्रियते यत् अस्माकं यत्किमपि श्रुतिर्भवेत्, whatever we hear, whatever we see, whatever we act, that should be well-being, full of well-being, and not for only for himself, herself, but for others too. So for all the persons, all the beings, sentient and insentient beings, they should be full of well-being, they should be prosperous. So this mantra is so reminds us that we should be very careful about our existence. We are not just only a physical form aspect, but अहम संस्कृत भाषायां वक्तुम् इच्छामि, परंतु सर्वेषां विद्यते इच्छा यत् सर्वेः सा सर्वेषां कृते बोधो भवेत्। एतदर्थं हिंदी भाषायामपि आंग्लभाषायामपि मध्ये मध्ये तत्र यत्र भवति तत् वदामि। एतेन मंत्रेण एतदेव आयाति यद् अस्माकं सर्वोपि व्यवहारः स्वस्य कृते सर्वेषां कृते च, सभी के लिए, अपने लिए, खुद के लिए जो हम आचरण करते हैं, जो व्यवहार करते हैं, वह हमारे सुख के लिए हो, शांति के लिए हो, केवल स्वयं के सुख शांति के लिए नहीं, अपितु समस्त विश्व में जो भी बीइंग्स का मतलब है जो भी जीव हैं उन सब के लिए हो। क्यों? एक इसका बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण कारण है। क्यों पूरे विश्व के लिए हम सुख शांति और समृद्धि की कामना करते हैं? उसका सबसे बड़ा कारण ये है, जैसा आपने भी अभी संकेत में कहा, हम उस परब्रह्म के जीव रूप में अंश हैं। वी आर द फ्रेगमेंट ऑफ प्योर कॉन्शसनेस विच इज द इनहेरेंट divine power of that Supreme One. So because we are fragment, we should be very cautious to just think, speak and act for the well-being of all the persons, all the beings. तो ये जो सद्भाव है, पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ है, ये हमें जो हमारा वैदिक सिद्धांत है, हमारे वेद हैं, वह उपदेश करते हैं या शिक्षा देते हैं। सबका कल्याण हो, सबके साथ सद्भाव का क्रम हो। यह जो व्यापक रूप में यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट में जो हमारी भावना है, हमारी दृष्टि है, वो हमें विशाल बनाती है, यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट में हमें स्थित करती है। और फिर वेदों में बतलाए जो साधन हैं उनको करते हुए हम अपने को, हमारी जो लाइफ एनर्जी है उसको डेवलप करते हुए, और अंत में हम उस परम तत्व से जो पूर्ण है, वो इज़ परफेक्ट, हम उस परफेक्ट के साथ मिल जाते हैं और स्वयं पूर्ण हो जाते हैं। तो पूर्णता का जो संदेश है, पूर्णता का जो धर्म है, वैदिक धर्म, धर्म शब्द जो है बड़ा ही महत्वपूर्ण है। धर्म का एटमोलॉजिकल मीनिंग है धारणात् धर्म, धारण, जिसे हम धारण करें, यानी जो भी हम पूजा पाठ, जप तप, मेडिटेशन है और जो कुछ भी हम करते हैं, इन सब के माध्यम से हम किसे धारण करते हैं, किसको जो है अपने में जोड़ते हैं? लाइफ एनर्जी, प्राण शक्ति। प्राण शक्ति को हम डेवलप करते हैं, उसको एनरिच करते हैं। ये सारे जितने भी उपाय हैं सब एक उद्देश्य है, हमारी प्राण शक्ति। और हमारी प्राण शक्ति क्या है? लाइफ एनर्जी। एम्बॉडीड सोल के रूप में जो हम हैं वह उसी का अंश है, परम परमेश्वर का। तो वह सब में है, इसलिए सभी के साथ हम समृद्धि के साथ आगे बढ़ें, यही वैदिक सिद्धांत है। और वैदिक विज्ञान के रूप में यही है, केवल उसको एक दूसरे रूप में हम कहते हैं। समय अभी देते थोड़ा और समय। देखिए, वैदिक सिद्धांत की दृष्टि से ये जो यूनिवर्स है, वास्ट यूनिवर्स, इसकी दो ही सत्ता हैं, एग्जिस्टेंस है। एक है रियल एग्जिस्टेंस, पारमार्थ की सत्ता, वो यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट में एक सी बनी रहती है। दूसरी है व्यावहारिकी सत्ता, प्रैक्टिकल एग्जिस्टेंस। प्रैक्टिकल एग्जिस्टेंस में उस परम तत्व एब्सोल्यूट वन जो है, उसकी जो चित्त शक्ति है वह क्रियाशील होती है। पारमार्थिकी सत्ता में वह चित्त शक्ति, प्योर कॉन्शसनेस जो है, वह सुप्रीम वन ब्रह्म के साथ एकाकार रूप में बनी रहती है, उसका अस्तित्व बना रहता है। यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट में है तो वह अपने आप में पूर्ण भाव में स्थित रहती है। प्रैक्टिकल एग्जिस्टेंस में सृष्टि होती है। सृष्टि का क्रम जो है वह वैदिक सिद्धांत के अनुसार अनादि है, एंडलेस जो सेसेशन है इसका। कल्प एक पीरियड है, अभी चर्चा हो रही थी, कल्प नाम का एक समय है। उस कल्प के क्रम में सृष्टि का आरंभ होता है। ये जो प्योर कॉन्शसनेस है उससे ब्रह्म यथावत बना रहता है। मंत्र है इसका, ऋग्वेद का बड़ा प्रसिद्ध मंत्र है। ओम न मृत्युरासीद अमृतम न तर्हि न रात्र्या अन्न आसीत प्रकेतः आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकं तस्माद् धन्यन्न परः किंचनास। ये मंत्र कह रहा है वह परम तत्व एब्सोल्यूट वन यथावत बना रहता है। और उसकी जो स्वधा जो है प्योर कॉन्शसनेस को कहा है, वह शक्ति कल्प के आरंभ में क्रियाशील होती है। ये कल्प का टाइम जो है बहुत 1000 and 1000 million years ऑफ द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स ये है। तो उसमें कल्प का आरंभ होता है, क्रिएशन शुरू होता है। और जैसा आप चर्चा कर रहे थे, वेद जो हैं किसी के द्वारा बनाए नहीं हुए हैं। वेद जो है शब्द ब्रह्म के रूप में स्वयंभू हैं। साउंड फॉर्म के रूप में, इटर्नल एस्पेक्ट में वेद जो हैं ध्वनि रूप हैं। ये जो लैंग्वेज, जो स्क्रिप्ट में जो वेद टेक्स्ट के रूप में हम देख रहे हैं, बहुत ही लेटर स्टेज का है। ऋषि जो है सृष्टि के आरंभ में क्रिएशन जो है शुरू होता है तो ऋषि, प्राण रूप ऋषियों का प्रादुर्भाव होता है, उनका अस्तित्व बना रहता है, इनएक्टिव रहते हैं पूर्णता में। फिर जब सृष्टि का क्रम हुआ तो वो एक्टिव हो जाते हैं, क्रियाशील हो जाते हैं। तो ये जो ज्ञान है, विजडम, जो ट्रू नॉलेज है, वह सूक्ष्म रूप में साउंड फॉर्म में रहता है। ऋषि लोग उसका एक्सपीरियंस, अनुभव करते हैं, दे रियलाइज इन देयर प्योर माइंड। और फिर जो शिष्य हैं उन शिष्यों को उपदेश करते हैं टेलीपैथी से ही, कहीं लैंग्वेज और स्क्रिप्ट नहीं है, टेलीपैथी से अपने मन से उनके मन में वो ज्ञान विजडम है दे देते हैं। ये परंपरा चलती है और बाद में बहुत लेटर स्टेज में जब हमारी शक्ति कम होने लगती है तब फिर लैंग्वेज और स्क्रिप्ट के रूप में उसका क्रम रहता है। पूरा प्रमाण है इसका, समय का अभाव है, समय धीरे से कहना है इसलिए कहना। तो वो सृष्टि होती है और कल्प का समापन मैंने बतलाया लाखों लाख वर्षों का क्रम है, उसमें वह फिर उसी स्वधा में, स्वधा यानी प्योर कॉन्शसनेस में सारी सृष्टि लीन हो जाती है, नष्ट नहीं होती, लीन हो जाती है, अंतर्हित हो जाती है, मर्ज कर जाती है और फिर से ये क्रम बनता है। तो हमारी जो संस्कृति है, हमारा जो धर्म है वह अनादि है और वह हम सभी के लिए, पूरे विश्व के लिए। देखिए विश्व जब हम कहते हैं तो केवल पृथ्वी का अर्थ नहीं आता है, विश्व माने पूरा यूनिवर्स, पृथ्वी, अंतरिक्ष, दिलोक और दिलोक के विविध 7 जो हैं लोक हैं, पूरा सब क्रम चला आता है। व्यापक दृष्टि जो है हमारी यूनिवर्सल एस्पेक्ट में वेद कहते हैं। और जो हमने विज्ञान की बात आई तो वैदिक विज्ञान जो है तैत्तिरीय आरण्यक में बताया है। देखिए ज्ञान का अर्थ है, ये टेक्निकल वर्ड है, ज्ञान यानी पूर्ण ज्ञान इन इंटरनल एस्पेक्ट, वो ब्रह्म का ज्ञान हो गया। और विशिष्टम ज्ञानम विविधम ज्ञानम विज्ञानम, वही विज्ञान शब्द आ गया विशिष्ट रूप से, वी उपसर्ग के साथ प्रीफिक्स लगा दीजिए ज्ञान में, तो विशिष्टम ज्ञानम विज्ञानम विविधम ज्ञानम विज्ञानम। तो जो काल का है, टाइम जो है डिवाइडेड एस्पेक्ट में, ईयर्स है, मंथ है, डेज है, ये डिवीजन है काल का। वैसे तो काल अपने आप में टाइम इटर्नल एस्पेक्ट में स्थित है, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकल एग्जिस्टेंस के क्रम में डिवाइडेड एस्पेक्ट में ये एक्टिव हो जाता है, व्यवहार होता है। इसी तरह से सारी चीज़ों का क्रम बनता है और इसको कैसे सभी के लिए हम ठीक रख सकें, कल्याणकारी बना सकें, यही विज्ञान, वैदिक विज्ञान है। मॉडर्न साइंस में जो भी रिसर्च होते हैं उनमें एक थोड़ी सी गड़बड़ी है, साइड इफ़ेक्ट सब में आ जाता है। चाहे वाटर प्यूरिफिकेशन का हो, वाटर पॉल्यूशन है, प्यूरिफिकेशन है, होगा, फिर थोड़े से बैक्टीरिया डेवलप हो जाते हैं। वैदिक विज्ञान के हिसाब से ये रिसर्च हुआ है और वो रिसर्च जो है BHU में ही रिसर्च हुआ है और मेरे अंडर में रिसर्च हुआ और उन्होंने जो स्कॉलर हैं ये पता किया कि कैसे जो है यह प्यूरिफिकेशन है बना रहे हमेशा के लिए, फिर से बैक्टीरिया उसमें डेवलप ना हो। तो ये हर एक क्षेत्र में, चाहे वो जल है, वाटर पॉल्यूशन है, चाहे एयर पॉल्यूशन है, सब में कैसे हम ये जो पॉल्यूटेड एस्पेक्ट है इसको हटा दें, यही मुख्य रूप से वैदिक साइंस का उद्देश्य है। और फिर और सारे पक्ष हैं, उनको कैसे हम अपने जीवन हमारा सुखी रहे, कैसे उस सुख को हम अपने में रख सकते हैं, सबके साथ जोड़ सकते हैं, ये भी विज्ञान, ये एक साइंस है। तो इसको भी वेद बताते हैं। पूर्णता का क्रम है वेदों का। हम वो कहते हैं हम पूर्ण हैं, सारी सृष्टि का प्रत्येक पदार्थ पूर्ण है, उस पूर्णता को हम प्राप्त करें, परफेक्शन, पूर्णता, वही हमारा अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्ट है, उद्देश्य है। इसलिए थोड़ा कहते हुए एक मंत्र पढ़ के विराम लेता हूँ। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। धन्यवाद।
Dhanyavad, sir. For the benefit of our global viewers, a brief summary of what Professor shared with us. Professor Hriday Ranjan Sharma ji emphasized the essence of the Vedas being that of the supreme universal oneness, with two principles, Paramarthik, universal consciousness, and Vyavaharik, worldly manifestations. Referring to the Nasadiya Suktam, he shared that consciousness is eternal and only it existed in the beginning. In its subtle form, it was perceived as sound by our rishis who translated them into Vedas. It is this knowledge that has taught to the world this oneness and its reflection across various fields and specializations. माननीय महोदय, आप आज हमारे साथ यहाँ उपस्थित होकर हमें अपना बहुमूल्य समय प्रदान किया, इसके लिए हम आपके अत्यंत आभारी हैं। अब हम माननीय हृदय रंजन शर्मा जी को अपने प्रेम और कृतज्ञता के प्रति एक स्मृति चिन्ह प्रदान करना चाहते हैं। We now request Dr. Manoj Nesri, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, to address us. Dr. Manoj Nesri has over 20 years of outstanding experience as an Ayurveda clinician, during which time he developed expertise in Ayurvedic management of pain-dominant conditions and other areas such as policy, planning, programs, education, capacity building, and research. Dr. Manoj Nesri.
His Divine Holiness Swami Madhusudan Saiji, the other dignitaries on the dais and in this beautiful hall, those who have illuminated this conference and this entire campus of this university, the representatives from the Ministry of Ayush, from the various other countries from India. So namaste to all of you. I really admire and appreciate this initiative taken by this university to organize this Vedic conference with the theme of this Vedic knowledge for the better life. And I think this is really a very unique, useful, and very rational this initiative that has been taken, and especially in the context of the national education policy. I am talking in the perspective of the India post-independence, the post-colonial era, the years that India spent, almost 1,000 years, where gradually the education system, it was deteriorated, it was uprooted from its spiritual linkages, and gradually it was imbibed the Western thoughts, the Western system of education, and the various thoughts to disintegrate the society. Because if you see in the ancient time, what the Manusmriti says, I am taking the clue from the speech that has been given by my predecessors, the Chancellor, as well as the experts from the Banaras University. So this thought process that how the education should be, so if we see that in the Vedic Kal or in the, after that in the Manusmriti, so there was no casteism based on the birth, there was no scheduled caste, there were no scheduled tribes. Even in the Ramayana and Mahabharata, we can see the kings of Bhil or various other communities. So they were the king, they were the empires, they were the kingdoms. So this division in the society, it was not there in the ancient time. Or even you say, probably some 300, 400 years back. And then these thoughts, they were actually imbibed on us to divide. And I think we have to overcome that, the thoughts of scheduled tribes and scheduled caste and this and that. And this is what actually Ayurveda says. Because, like the Vedas, the Ayurveda is also a Paurusheya. In the beginning itself, it is said that Brahma Smrutva Yusho Vedam Prajapati Majigrahat. So, Brahma Smrutva, there is no any one person, those who actually thought it. So, Brahma Smrutva, I believe that I am not the scholar like the scholars from the BHU of Sanskrit, but Brahma is Bru Udyamane. Am I right? And Bru Udyamane, that means you have to be thoughtful, you have to be creative. So these thoughts and creativity, it emerges in thousands of people and millions of people, those who are scholars, and all this knowledge has been actually brought together. This has been experienced, this has been evidence-based. Because it is said that Brahma Smruta Yusho Vedam Prajapatim Ajigra So Ashvinav Tau Sahasraksha So Atri Putra Dikan Munin. And to my students, wherever I go, I tell them that this is actually the evolution of any science, any knowledge. Brahma Smrutva, some thoughts came to some students' mind. Yesterday there was a student with me. So some thought came to him and he tried to understand more and more that. And then he goes to the head of department or the head of the institute. Brahma Smrutva Visho Vedam, Prajapatim Ajigrahat. And then there is discussion in the ethics committee that this is the actually proposal, this is the thought, and whether we should do the research on this or not. So Ashwinav. And then actually when it was established that this is the right thing, this is the true thing, then it was given to peer review, Sahasraksha. Here, Sahasraksha is not related with Indra. The word given is a Sahasra Aksha. So it has to be peer reviewed. And when after peer reviewed, after this thorough scrutiny, when everything was established that this is the fact, then it is to be spread. So Atri Putra Dikan Munin. So this is the actually development of Ayurveda. So it has been peer reviewed, it has been evidence based, it is experience based, and it has been practiced for last thousands and millions of years, we don't know. We always say that Ayurveda has the documented history of the 5,000 years. But that doesn't mean that Ayurveda is limited only to 5,000 years. Because in Mahabharata, or even in Ramayana, or even in before that, the Ayurveda did exist. Rightly he mentioned that the Srishti, it evolves every time. One Brahma day, millions of years. And again there is next day, and the third day, and the fourth day. And through all this, the Ayurveda has been there, like the Vedas, and that's why it is called as the Upaveda of Veda. At the same time, the Ayurveda is not the science of life. Because science is very limited and the knowledge is vast. There are lot many things in the knowledge which cannot be actually measured with the parameters given by the science. So science is a very small thing. So Ayurveda is the knowledge of life. And when we say the Ayurveda is the knowledge of life, it is not limited to the health of the human being. It also encompasses the health of the other animals, the living as well as the non-living. Whether they are the plants, medicinal plants, the other plants, all the creatures, all the living beings, and the non-living as well. So health of everything is all together, and that's why Ayurveda says that whatever is there outside, the same is there inside. Pinda Brahmanda Nyaya. And that's why until and unless the universe outside is good, I cannot be good because I am the part of the universe. If the universe is not healthy, I cannot be healthy. So that's why the universe has to be there. And this is the concept nowadays which is promoted with One Health. But one health is limited only to the health of the kettles or the livestock and the human being, or the animals and the human being. But it is not that. One health actually is much more beyond that. Ayurveda has mentioned the three principles, I believe you know most of them, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And one of that, Vata is the main important factor, not only for the human being, for the entire universe. We talk about the global warming. We talk about the tsunami, the earthquakes, other disasters, the natural calamities. And Charak Samhita clearly mentions that Vata is the Vata Prakopa, the vitiation, aggravation of Vata, is the main factor responsible for all these deeds. Vayustantra yantradharaha pranodana samana vyana panatma pravartaka cheshtanam. So cheshta, all the activities, it is because of Vata. And that's why we have to maintain the Vata, we have to pacify the Vata. So when we say Ayurveda, it is not only limited to the humans, it is not only limited to the animal kingdom or the living kingdom, the medicinal plants. So all actually are into that. And when we talk about the health, rightly the Chancellor said that the science gains the knowledge faster than the wisdom which is gained by the society. And for this purpose, when we promote the health, we have to actually educate the masses. I agree that the government has the duty toward the society to promote the health. At the same time, it is my own responsibility, unless the individual participation is not there in the health, we cannot achieve the health for all. We cannot be healthy. So every individual should be capacitated to have the knowledge about the health. And that is the actually fourth tier of healthcare that the Ministry of Ayush is proposing. What is health? What is good for health? What is bad for health? So everything, it should be known to the people, and that should be actually inculcated in the education right from the school time. This Vedic knowledge of health, it should be there in the school time itself. We should be connected with the nature, we should be connected with the medicinal plants, we should be connected with the soil. Why should we see the advertisement? Bacteria. No, there is no bacteria. There are millions of bacteria in everybody's gut. And that's what it is called as the gut microbiome. And these are the healthy bacteria. We require that. And the more and more use of antibiotics, they are killing the bacteria. And that is actually deteriorating the health. I won't go into that subject into detail, but I mean to say that the knowledge of the ancient wisdom, it should be inculcated at the school level. The children, they should know who was Charak. The children, they should know who was Aryabhatta. The children, they should know what is Punarnava. And there are various steps which are being taken by the government. And at this stage, we would definitely need the support and the help of the various organizations like the Sathya Sai organization, the BHU, to develop the curriculum for the children in the language which is not only understandable but which is attractive to the children of the age, maybe at the age of 5 years, at the age of 6 years, at the age of 10 years. And this is a big challenge, but we are working on that and will definitely cooperate. And when we talk about the health cannot be without the wellness. Health and wellness, often people, they understand that wellness is something inferior. It is just a spa, but it is not that. Wellness is much more beyond the health. It is one step above. Because when we talk about the swastha, what is meant by swastha? So the first line, that is samadosha, samagnisha, etc. So that is basically the physiological aspect. The second line is most important. Prasanna atma indriya manaha. So the prasanna atma indriya manaha, your spirit, it should be prasanna. So that is the wellness. And that's how we have to define what is the wellness. What are the parameters of wellness? We have to assess it on these parameters, that what is wellness. Prasanna atma indriya manaha. In the same line, when I talk about the Agni, so here in the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavan Krishna says that Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Prananam Deham Ashataha Pranapana Samayuktam Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. So here Bhagavan says that I am the Agni which is there in all the living being, and I am actually doing all this metabolism. And at the same time, Ayurveda says that Shantegno Mriyate Yukte Chiranjivati Anamayaha. So Shante Agno, when the Agni becomes silent, when it goes away, Mriyate, the living being, it dies. Yukte, when it is of the good quality, Chiranjiviti Anamaya. So Chiranjiviti, long life and healthy, disease-free, Anamaya. So here actually it connects that there is the spirit, there is this divine power which is there, because it is the Lord who says that Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. So he is there, and when he is not there, then the universe will die. So this is the actually linkages in between the spirituality and the health and the Ayurveda. And finally, regarding how the Vaidya should be, and to be healthy, what is to be done. So first important is that you should have the healthy lifestyle and other things. But the most important other than the healthy lifestyle is we have to be Dataha Samaha Satyaparaha Kshamavan Aptopasevi Cha Bhavati Arogaha. Most important thing. Dataha. So we should have the capacity to give. We should have the tendency to give, to donate. Whatever we have, give it to others. Dataha, Samaha, we should be equal. There is no scheduled tribe, there is no scheduled caste. We should be equal to everybody. Dataha, Samaha, Satyaparaha, the truth. Kshamavan. So Kshamavan is forgive. And it is not just forgive and forget. Not that you have to forgive for right now, but you will keep in mind that I have forgiven you this time, but I'll keep in mind that sometime I'll show you. That is not. Forgive and forget. Kshamavan and Aptopasevi. And who are the Apta? The Vedas, they are the Apta. So it's a huge knowledge, it's a huge science. And that's why at the end of the Charak Samhita, it says that Yadi hastam anyatram yanne haste nat kathit. So it says that whatever the knowledge it has been given in this Charak Samhita, the same exists everywhere, and what is not exist, it is not in the Charak Samhita. I think that this is the actually complete science, and when we interact with the international communities, we also understand that there are similar kind of thought processes, they are evolving. And this is the right time that we should promote the Vedic knowledge, the Upanishads, the Ayurveda to the entire universe, because the government has identified the Ayurveda and Yoga as the soft powers to promote for the well-being of the entire universe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of all of us, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Manoj Nesari. We would like to thank the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India for their support and participation in this conference. We also deeply miss the presence of Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha D, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, who could not join us today due to a last-minute unavoidable engagement. We now pray to Sadguru to bless us all with his inaugural message.
ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। आज के इस अति पावन अवसर पर यहाँ पर इतने विद्वानों का आगमन, विद्वान सर्वत्र पूज्यते, ऐसे पूजनीय हृदयरंजन शर्मा जी जिन्होंने यहाँ पर अपने विचार को प्रस्तुत कर हमारे सभी विद्यार्थियों को आशीर्वाद दिया, उनके हम बहुत आभारी हैं। आप पुनः पुनः यहाँ आए और बच्चों को और यहाँ के शिक्षकों को भी अपने ज्ञान से और अपने अनुभव से प्रेरित करते रहें, ये हमारी आशा है और कामना भी। हमारे साथ बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी से और भी हमारे उपेंद्र त्रिपाठी जी आए हैं और हमारे अति प्रिय उपाध्याय जी भी यहाँ पर आए हैं। तो बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी को और उनके मुखांतर वहाँ के सभी जो भी शिक्षक वृंद हैं, विद्यार्थी हैं, उन सभी को भी बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। और वो जो कर रहे हैं मुख्यतः वैदिक विज्ञान केंद्र के माध्यम से, ये बहुत ही प्रशंसनीय है, बहुत ही अनुकरणीय है और हमें विश्वविद्यालय के रूप में उनसे बहुत कुछ सीखना है। तो आशा है कि आने वाले समय में हम साथ में मिलकर और काम करेंगे। सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु, और भी सीखेंगे, जानेंगे। तो उन सभी को बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। हमारे साथ प्रोफेसर विजय शंकर शुक्ल जी भी हैं यहाँ पर, उनको भी बहुत अभिनंदन। We also have people from the Ministry of Ayush. Just now we heard Manoj Nesari ji, and also we have Professor Meeta Kotecha. They are all working in the field of Ayurveda. Again, it's a Upaveda, it's a part of our Vedic heritage. So we are very glad to have you here and for the wonderful thoughts that you have shared. Quite clear and nice. I'm sure students would appreciate the understanding of Ayurveda that he presented to all of us. Also, greetings to the management and the leadership team of the university and all the participants who have come from various countries. They may not be Indians in their bodies, but they are Indian in their heart. And therefore, they appreciate the idea of Vedas. In fact, here we have Dr. Jorge Berra from Argentina and his Institute of Ayurveda in Argentina. He also founded our ashram and promotes the Ayurvedic knowledge in Argentina, and he has an MOU with the Ayush Ministry for the propagation and promotion of Ayurveda, which was done recently. So we have all these people from around the world. I do not even know how many countries, and many are watching live from various parts of the world. To all of them, greetings of the day, and I wish that they would learn from this conference and further develop their understanding and experience and promote and propagate this Vedic knowledge in the whole world. To me personally, I don't see there is any other way to redeem the world. Nanya pantha yanaya vidyate. This is the one and the only way that the Vedic knowledge should reach to every single person in the world. Our Vedas, our rishis thought of like this. Let us make Arya out of everyone. Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam. They did not mean Arya means of a certain race or a clan or a certain nationality. Arya means nobility, good people. And who are good people? As he's just now said, Bhadram. Whoever does good is a good person. And doing good 1 day, 2 days, once in a week, once in a month is possible for everyone. But doing good consistently for the welfare of all is only possible for those who have realized the self. Unless you have realized the knowledge of the Vedas, which is basically knowledge of your own self, you cannot be good forever. You can be good for 1 day or 2 days, but not forever. So if we want to make the whole world good, Arya, the only way is to realize the knowledge and the truth of the Vedas. The Mahavakyas from the Upanishads, which we all know, it extols the concept of our existence, that we are not mere organisms. We are not mere body-mind complex, but we are much beyond that. Our true existence is divinity itself. And only when that happens, when we realize ourselves, which Vedas teach us about, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, so many ways Vedas are telling us that you realize that you are that divine. You are none other than that. Only when we realize the truth can we become Arya. Can we help the world when Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinha or Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. These ideals can be realized only when people realize the truth of self, which is the truth of all the Vedas. So I keep telling our children time and again, Dve Vidya Veditavye. One Vidya you are getting, but that is avidya only according to the Vedic understanding. Avidya mrutyum tvitva. It will help you to cross over death. It means if you have avidya, in the sense you have the knowledge of your mathematics, social sciences, humanities, medicine, whatever you are using to eke out a livelihood, that is only going to help you stay alive. Mrutyum tirtva does not mean you will conquer death. You will stay alive. It means since you have money in your bank account, food on your plate, and you are having a shelter and a roof above your head and clothing, there is a good possibility that you won't be dead tomorrow. So to that extent, avidya, mrutyum tirtha, only to that extent avidya helps you. But vidya amrutamashnate. But the true knowledge, the dve vidya, the paravidya alone takes us to the immortality. Immortality is the way of Indian way. Every other culture will tell you are mortal. Sooner or later, you are going to die. At best, you can extend by getting into an ICU and put a ventilator on and go on for some more time. But they cannot end your misery. They cannot extend your life forever. Even Indian thought does not say you will live physically forever. It only tells you that your true existence is immortality, amrutatva. And that you can attain only through this knowledge of the Vedas. So Vedas are beautiful because they have both the apara and the para in them. Apara vidya, which consists of all the material knowledge which we all need for living in this particular world. But more importantly, it also teaches us that atra para yad tad aksharam adhigamyate. That which takes us to our immortality, that knowledge also is available in the Vedic scriptures. And I think as Indians, or even as the people of the world, especially Indians, if we have to think why we are so blessed, we have many reasons to consider ourselves blessed to have been born in India. But one reason why we should think ourselves to be really blessed is because we have Vedic knowledge with us. We have rishis, we have saints and sages who have realized this knowledge and they are propagating and promoting it. No other culture can claim of this wonderful blessing that has come our way. And what a lofty ideal. You are not some creature of circumstances. You are verily that divine, nothing less than divine. You are that. How boldly our rishis have declared it. Whether you are a man or a woman, whichever caste, so to say, you are born in, whatever be your education, whatever be your abilities and capacities, doesn't matter. You are that divine. There is no other way. You can't be anything other than divine. Our Vedas are so clear. You think, no, I think, many of these, I don't like these karmakandis who keep papoham, papa karmaham. I keep them, no, you are not papo, praptoham. You are the realized one, you are already that. But you do not know, that's all is the difference. So please reveal to us our true nature is what we pray to the divine. Hirmayena patrena sasya sapihitam mukham. Our knowledge is covered. So how do we reveal that knowledge? You pray to God. Tattvam pushna pavranu Sathya dharmaya drishtaye. Why should God reveal to us ourself? Because He knows we are the followers of Sathya dharma. That is what even Nesariji was saying. Satyapara. Because we follow the truth of the Vedas that we are divine, and we practice it in our daily life as our dharma, swadharma. And therefore, O Lord, please reveal to us the understanding, the wisdom of these Vedas, which is our own true knowledge of our own true selves. This beauty of Vedic knowledge is not available anywhere. I think that is one single reason we can definitely pat our backs and say that we are born Manushya Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhayel. Very few people walk on this spiritual path. Is said there are almost 8 billion people on earth, 800 crores. How fortunate we are that amongst 800 crores on earth, 140 crores in India and 6.5 crores in Karnataka and a few hundred thousands in around Chikbalapur, here are a few hundred of us sitting and discussing a topic as sublime, as important as this. How do we use this Vedic knowledge to improve ourselves, improve our societies, improve the country and improve the world at large? And this is the need of the hour. And there is no need of shying away from this idea, this understanding. This is not some dogmatic or this is not some superstitious knowledge. This is evidence-based. This is proven knowledge. Because rishis have experienced this divinity within and without. This is not blasphemous. This is what it is. Then they said it as it is. This boldness of our rishis, born out of their experience, who have shared this knowledge with us on both the para side and the apara side, is our great spiritual Indian heritage we should be proud of. And I always say, wear it on your sleeves proudly and tell that you are from this great country, you follow this great dharma of Sanatana Dharma. Don't shy away from that. Say it loud and clear to everyone. Beat your chest and say it. That's what I tell our children. But simply telling that we are Vedic, we are Sanatana Dharma, doesn't work. You have to practice it in your daily life. People should see that happen in your conduct, in your thought, word and action. This Vedic wisdom should be visible to the world. That is the best way to teach the world. Not by speaking. That Vaikari, Madhyama, over. We must work on the para. Our whole understanding of this truth should be from our own experience. And that experience will be visible in our thought, word and action. So how do we build better societies? Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam. Let us make Aryam out of everybody. How do we make them Aryas? By teaching them the knowledge of the Vedas, both the material as well as spiritual. And how do we teach the knowledge of the Vedas? Not by Vaikari, not by shouting on top of our voices from podiums, but by practicing the truth in our daily life. Acharati iti acharya. You have to become acharyas of this Vedic Dharma. How? By practicing it in a daily life. There is so much that can be discussed. I'm sure there are Pandits are there are Vidwans are there who know much more than this and who can take you through the finest sublime details of this knowledge in the coming sessions. For now, I can only bless you all and I can only wish that you learn from this wonderful conference. We don't get this opportunity time and again. Once in a while it comes our way. So it's our great fortune. Durlabham trayame vaitat daivanugraha hetukam. What is Durlabham? At this point of time, Manushyattvam that you have already received, whichever way, boy, girl, man, woman, old, young, you are Manushya. Mumukshattvam. Where is that feeling of wanting to know the truth? That also most of our children and our devotees have gathered over a period of time. They have understood that the ultimate knowledge is knowledge of the self. That mumukshu, that bhavana also has come to them. Then Mahapurushas, Samshrayas. These are Mahapurushas who are here to share the great Vedic wisdom. So enjoy it, benefit from it. Just for the sake of the guests, we had 2 more conferences before this. One was on medical education. It also had the incorporation of Ayurvedic thought, integrative medicine approach. And the other is, we also had the education conference, how to make higher education available and accessible to the children, more enrollment in higher education and things like that. Those conferences were perhaps useful only to certain people of that particular field. But this conference is useful to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're an educationist or a medical professional or you are no professional, doesn't matter. As long as you're a human being born on this earth, you need this. Therefore, this conference is the most useful and most important conference of all the other conferences that we are having. So pay attention. Prasannatma, he said, their true health is when you are happy. But when can we be happy? One day we can be happy, next day we become sad. But our scriptures say, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When you realize that Brahman, you become that Brahman, Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati, then you become prasanna. So you become healthy in mind, body and spirit, well-being, what we call. So there is no other way, Nanya Pantha. The only way is we realize the truth of these Vedas by our own efforts and by Tapaprabhava, Daiva Prasada. By the grace of the divine and by our own tapas, by our own efforts, we must realize this knowledge. So this is the reason why this conference has been organized. I am very thankful to everyone who has made it here despite difficult situations outside with COVID pandemic. Still it is not over and things are still not so good. Still all these people have arrived from various countries, braving several odds, especially in the time of conflicts. And all the guest speakers who have arrived from various parts of the country, I mean even the world, to all of them, our gratitude and best wishes, and may this conference be a success, and may the knowledge that has come from it, that reaches all parts of the world, and especially the youngsters who are here, they must take it very seriously. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Shraddha, with Shraddha you must listen to it, and I'm definitely going to ask you after the conference, what have you understood and what have you learned from it. So don't simply listen to it from the ears, listen to it from your hearts. I'm definitely going to ask you. And you know, if you don't tell me the right answers, what's going to happen. Thank you very much again. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत स्वागत है. पुनः पुनः आप यहाँ पर आएँ और विद्यार्थी विद्यार्थिनियों और शिक्षकों को आशीर्वाद दें. आप सभी का बहुत अभिनंदन, और मैं भी आशा करता हूँ कि इस सम्मेलन से, समावेश से सभी को लाभ होगा, और यह जो ज्ञान हम की गंगा यहाँ बहेगी, जिसका पान हम करेंगे, उससे और भी लोगों को हम लाभान्वित कर सकेंगे, ये मेरी आशा है. थैंकिंग द आयुष मिनिस्ट्री, thanking Banaras Hindu University, thanking Meru University from Netherlands, they are there online I believe, and everybody else who has been a part of this effort, and I wish you all success. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu.
Thank you, Sadguru, for once again stressing on the great divine knowledge of the Vedas. This conference is truly an opportunity for all of us to participate and understand the wide knowledge of the Vedas, and the themes of the conference aim to bring together the way of living the way of the Vedas and realizing our own oneness. As Revered Chancellor stated, the conference is divided into 4 sessions. First, the Vedic way of a healthy lifestyle. Second, Vedic Ayurveda, the Vedic health sciences. Third, the Vedic way of education. And fourth, spirituality in Vedas. We now conclude the inaugural session of this conference and will shortly commence the first session in the next 10 minutes. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries on the dais.